Welcome to the Inspiring Women of Iowa podcast, a special series amplifying the stories of the Inspiring Women of Iowa finalists. Inspiring Women of Iowa is an annual event hosted by Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa with the goal of celebrating women of courage, confidence, and character who are making the world a better place. And why does that sound familiar? Well, because it also happens to be the mission of the Girl Scouts, where they believe society is better because strong women show girls that anything is possible. This event was created by Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa in 2017 to celebrate women in our community and share their stories, while raising support for the Girl Scout programs that build the next generation of inspiring women. 16 individuals are celebrated annually with the Courage, Confidence, Character, and Inspiring Advocate for Women awards. I'm your host, Teresa Peterson, Caramel Delight enthusiast, and I'm honored to have the chance to speak with these amazing, inspiring women and to share their stories with you. Joining me today is Leslie Erlbeck. In addition to her duties as Chief Operating Officer at Metro Waste Authority, Leslie is a certified life coach and a committed and engaged community leader. She has been nominated for the Courage Award. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
What should we know about you and your work?
You know, I wear a few different hats and I love it that way. I'm passionate about a lot of different areas of the work that I have the opportunity to dabble in. And, first and foremost, my day job allows me to be a Chief Operating Officer for Metro Waste Authority, where we have 135 employees and 8 different facilities. And so I just adore the opportunity to be able to meet employees where they are at whatever facility that they work with in regards to protecting the environment at Metro Waste Authority. And we have such a variety of folks that come from a lot of different backgrounds. And it has just been my absolute joy to be able to help people identify what lights them up, both inside of work and outside of work. And as I've gone on that journey with other people, it has allowed me to pursue other opportunities of interest that I have. I am, like you said, a certified life coach. And I'm also a city councilwoman for the city of Grimes. And so wear a lot of different hats, and it's just a pleasure to be able to work with people. And it fills my bucket in terms of curiosity and learning how people and different agencies and communities work.
Yeah. I love listening to you describe all the different hats, and it makes me wonder, where is courage really showing up for you in those roles? And why does courage matter so much now?
It's funny because if I think of the titles that I wear right now at 41, I didn't have any of those titles 10 years ago. And, as women, we have the tendency to dismiss ourselves before we've even entered a room, or to have the imposter syndrome, or to talk ourselves out of what relevant skills or experiences that we have. And so, as the Chief Operating Officer at Metro Waste Authority, I work with a lot of men, and they have a lot of technical skills, a lot of times, in engineering or in running pieces of heavy equipment. And so it can be easy to dismiss the knowledge and the expertise that I bring to those areas. Similarly, as a life coach, it can be intimidating to meet clients for the first time and to know that they all have their backgrounds of expertise and paradigms from where they've come from. And so to admit when we have a strength to meet people where they are, to help them through difficult times, challenging times, transformational times, positive times. And really, I think what I bring to what courage looks like in my life is being vulnerable and connecting with people, and hopefully showing them that leadership and courage can look a variety of different ways. And I imagine that a lot of times when people meet me, they would have the difficulty of imagining that I too have been through some tremendous hardships. And I have chosen to put those in my backpack of tools that can serve me down the road, and hopefully help connect and inspire others, and put those to good use rather than to use those as a limitation factor.
Mm. There's something, and I know something we have in common is raising daughters, right? And there's something so beautiful in how you were describing leadership and courage can have so many different presentations or so many different faces or ways of being. And I think that's such a beautiful reminder. It makes me think when I was kind of growing up in the world, there was just one way to present those things, and it just didn't relate to me. And I love how you articulated that of how different it can look and still be so valuable.
Yeah. I think, we're taught to a lot of times put on this armor, and as a leader or as a parent, as a community member, we're supposed to have all of these answers. And that can be really intimidating then when you're working with other people, because they start to dismiss what they can bring as
Mm,
solutions and those positive attributes that we all have. And I have found that the best way to draw those out of people is to be very honest when we don't know something and ask for help, and to use our own stories. And that's where I feel really grateful, is that I've reached a point in my personal and professional life that I can really share those um that journey that I've been on, and
yeah.
hopefully it can help dismiss any self doubt that people carry with them.
Yeah, well, that's beautifully said. Uh, Tell us about something that you're proud of related to your work.
I am proud to have the opportunity to build connections with people who have a variety of backgrounds, and to help them determine what's right for them. I was having coffee with a woman here in our agency just a few weeks ago, and she has found the sweet spot of where she wants to thrive professionally. And she was hoping that that wouldn't be something that would let me down in any way, that she wasn't still on the climb up the career ladder. And I just that's what I want, is for people to find the spot where they have the ultimate work-life balance, and they can feel challenged but also rewarded in the work that they do. And so I really feel very fortunate that I have the opportunity to meet people in a really personable way and get to know their families and have honest conversations about, what do they ultimately want their career to look like. And I have mentored young women who have told me that they want to own a mobile dog grooming business. And I don't know how to do that, but I do know how to help them think about a business plan and their customers and what that would look like in their personal life. And so I just feel really fortunate that I work somewhere where we can admit that this might not be the place that you retire from, but what's important in our time that we spend together working here is how we are forming as humans. And when we are able to show up in a true, authentic, vulnerable way at work, we take that home and we carry that with us with our significant others and friends and kids. And I think that that is the real work that is really meaningful for leaders to be doing.
I love everything about that. And what it makes me think of is sometimes there's so much emphasis on how things outside of work come into work and kind of that agitation of don't bring this into work with you. And I
Mhm.
love your thoughtfulness around how are we together in this space and the time we have so that you're going home, you're not depleted, right? You're able to show up there as well. You're able to be fully yourself in these spaces and like get what you need. I think that's beautiful. I think that's incredible. I think that's a great push for others listening too of like how am I thinking about how people are leaving the spaces that we're in after we're together.
I agree completely. And on top of that, what does happen externally that they bring to work, as leaders, not to dismiss a brief hiccup as the sole identity of who that
Oh,
person is. And
yes.
I have had the benefit of going through some really challenging personal situations in my time at Metro Waste Authority. I've been here for 14 years, and I think if you're going to be with any employer for that amount of time, you're going to hit both really wonderful milestones as well as really, really horrible milestones as
Yeah.
well. But the way that we allow people space to navigate through those things, in the end, you know, they are likely going to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate individuals in their roles. And so how we treat people when they're going through those processes allow them usually to come out the other side in a way that they can give back even more completely
Mm.
and lead and guide and contribute, and also that loyalty grows. And so there's a huge emphasis in the workplace on retention of employees, and I think that the way that we treat people and empathize with them, that doesn't mean we have to or dismiss them of all of their work
Yeah.
responsibilities, but it does mean that different chapters just realistically need to look differently depending on if people are maybe helping an aging parent at home, or they have a newborn baby who's not sleeping through the night, or maybe they're going through a really horrible divorce, or all of those things that just happen and make people people is also part of what allows them to fill their bucket with different tools to go on after they're through that chapter to contribute again, in their personal lives as well as professional.
Yeah. I love that push. We want employees to stay and feel engaged for the long haul. I mean, I hear that front row seat to that all the time. And you're so right. We should expect that they're going to have their ups and downs, right? I think and the space to name that feels quite courageous too.
Mhm.
Here's another one for you. How do you stay inspired?
Well, I am a journalism major in my undergrad, and so I still consider myself a journalist, although I never officially had a job. I did public relations for quite a bit of time outside of college, and so the true journalist, really thought I went to the dark side. But at my soul, I I really consider myself a journalist as a really curious person, and I think that
Yeah.
wherever we go and whatever room we find ourselves in, there's inspiration if we choose to learn a little bit more about what those individuals are going
Mm.
through and what their paradigms and backgrounds include. And I think if we choose to see how we're similar, we will find ways that we're different, but we will also find a tremendous amount of inspiration and connection because we're typically more similar than we are different.
I totally agree. And what a beautiful reminder in 2026. Humans are far more alike than not. Leslie, I heard a fun fact that you are related to another finalist.
Yes, I am. Isn't it? It's so special. So Annie Sloterdijk Brandt is my second cousin, and so kudos to the women in previous generations that have paved a path for us to be courageous in this space. And so Helen herself is obviously a wonderful, courageous woman who allowed multiple generations after her to act in such a way in our community and to be true to ourselves. And so as we're looking forward and we're giving to our children, I think also to pay respect and give
Mm.
recognition that one great grandma could have two great grandchildren at the same time, at the same year, both in the category of courage is pretty darn special.
That is a beautiful legacy. Okay, I've got one more. This one's fun. And I know you've got some little people in your life. What are your favorite Girl Scout cookies?
Oh, yes, and I have a Girl Scout. I have a Girl Scout at home, and we are actively doing the cookie booths right now,
Yeah.
and she is a little saleswoman, I tell you. I mean, she is so bold, sometimes I kinda cringe a little bit with her asks, but, that is what is so magnificent is, my 6.5-year-old and my 9-year-old, they are navigating this world with such bravery and
Mm.
strength, and they're so confident of who they are and true to themselves in a way that I just don't remember our generation being at that
Yeah.
age, and so
Yeah.
it is remarkable to see that, and so, it's never really just about the cookie, right? It's the
Yeah.
story behind the cookie, but, the caramel delights are my favorite.
Oh, yes. let's see. That one is absolutely my all-time favorite. We've heard some other folks say the lemonades, Thin
Those are good.
Mints, always a classic, but
In the freezer. You have to put them in the freezer
that's
first.
exactly right. But Caramel Delight, just room temperature. Is that your recommendation too?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in May.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. The 2026 Inspiring Women of Iowa event will be held on May 8th at the Meadows Events and Conference Center. To purchase tickets and get more information about supporting this event, please visit inspiringwomenofiowa.com. All proceeds from this fundraising event stay 100% local to benefit Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa and their mission to build up girls of courage, confidence, and character who will make this world a better place. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.